Hey guys, what's up? Today I want to talk about why you should stop identifying with your suffering. The reason I'm making this video is because there are a lot of people out there whose whole personality is their suffering. We all know those people. There's like they are depressed, they're sad, they're this, unlucky, whatever. But they've been sad and depressed for so long that it became who they are in their heads. So for example, a girl who's been sad for a long time, she's always in her head. After a while, she starts thinking of herself as of a sad person, as of a depressed person. Depression then becomes part of her personality. She starts identifying with it, and as a result, she becomes very unhappy. This can happen to a lot of people. In fact, most of the people are in the early stages of this, what you could call a psychological disease. And a lot of people are in the early stages when they're just walking around and they're not being present, they're in their head. So instead of me, for example, talking to you in the camera and focusing my full attention on talking, I would be 50% talking and 50% thinking in my head of the future, the past, of my problems, of me being sad. And so when you're in this state that I just described for a long amount of time, you start to identify with it. It starts to become who you are. And so a lot of people, for example, people I mentioned earlier, they go so deep into this state of unease, this state of unconsciousness, that after a while, it becomes them. They start with just being sad with whatever happened. Then after a while, they become sadder and sadder and sadder to the point where sad is who they are. They're no longer feeling sad, they are sad. But this is wrong, because in reality, you're not sad, you're just feeling sad. You're experiencing the emotion of sadness. You're experiencing depression. It's temporary. You are here to stay, unless you commit suicide, but you are here to stay. The emotion will go away after a while. But what people do is they start identifying with it. And this is when it gets fucked up. Because when you identify with the emotion of sadness, it never goes away. It becomes you. And then you're constantly unhappy. And so the thing that you guys need to do is, the message I'm trying to send is really understand that you should be in the moment. Your mind should be a tool you use for analyzing, for something else. It's not the tool you should constantly be using. You should be in the moment. You should be like, I'm talking to you right now. I'm not having any thoughts in my head. I'm fully focused on talking to you. Instead of like, I'm gonna try to do it right now. Instead of like talking to you while thinking of the future. You see, I'm already being slow because I'm not focused fully. And it's also draining my resources. The fact that I'm having thoughts in my head instead of being fully present in the moment. Okay? And so what you guys need to do is you need to be more present. And you need to stop identifying with your suffering, because your suffering is your thoughts, and your thoughts aren't you. You're just the one who experiences them. When you experience them when instead of realizing that you experience them, you start to think that they are you. You start to think that, well, yeah, if I'm depressed, I am the depression. If I'm happy, I'm the happy. If you start doing that, you're going on a really wrong path, because after a while, you become controlled by those thoughts, and you're no longer living, you're thinking, you're being unhappy, you're being unconscious. And that's a very sad way to live. So guys, be more present, stop overthinking, and really enjoy the simple things in life. I mean, look at the view behind me. It's just so nice. And even if you don't have such a view, just go outside and just enjoy the nature. See how beautiful the world is, because it is truly beautiful. And you should be more in the present, enjoying everything around you, instead of sitting here, being in your head and thinking and being sad, and then identifying with the sadness. Okay. Last thing I want to add is, what you notice is the people who start identifying with the suffering. It's interesting. What happens is, after a while, when you question their suffering, when you say, like, for example, imagine someone is depressed and you're like, hey, like, what's up? Why are you depressed? How can I help you? They don't want to be helped, because helping them will remove the depression, and this depression is the part of their identity, it's a part of who they are. So what happens is that when you try to help them, they actually feel attacked. They feel their ego being attacked some way, because their ego is depression. They are depression in their head. That's also something very interesting. Anyways, guys, follow for more tips.